Welcome to another episode of Growing in OKC. It's Ish here and I'm off location. I'm not at my garden. I'm at someone's front yard garden here in Moore, Oklahoma. And I was just driving by, I got a haircut, got my beard trimmed, and I happened to see this garden, so I wanted to show you all what they've got growing on here in this front yard garden. So let me take you around and show you some of the unique things that they're doing that I want to share with you all. Start the tour talking about the garden from the ground up, because really that's the most important thing. So first, I've already talked to the owners of the home, and they said this year is one of the best years that they've had for their garden, and it had to do with really two major things. One is that they use some fertilizers. Now I don't know if it's organic or chemical-based fertilizers. I didn't want to ask, but they used fertilizer on their garden, and then on top of that, what they've done is put down roof shingles over this. Okay, so here we see the roof shingles. And just like how you would install shingles onto your roof, they've got them overlapping. You can see how the weeds are dying underneath, and then they just overlayer them onto the next one as well. And anywhere that they walk in this garden, there are roof shingles. So let me see, I know I saw them in here a moment ago. So you can see down in there the little roofing shingles, maybe. But all of their pathways, wherever they step, have these roofing shingles, and then they've got them all the way around acting as a border, which I think is really smart. It prevents the grass from growing as much into their garden. I think it's a really unique way to use common everyday materials so that you can better grow your garden. Now I don't know if there are any kind of chemicals inside of roof shingles. I don't have that knowledge base. Maybe some of you all out there do or not. But if it's safe, it's a unique alternative to weed barriers to work. Unique and interesting things here at this garden. And in order to save some time on this video, I'm gonna skip over the tomatoes, the squash, and the okra. You all will just have to take my word for it. There is a ton of those three things in this garden. But that's not really what makes this garden unique. It's what makes it great, because those are staple foods that you can eat every single day. And he's assured me they do eat a lot of tomatoes here. Since this season alone, he's had 6 5-gallon buckets full of tomatoes. And if they were anything like this plant, I can assure you that he's probably underestimating, because just this plant alone probably has 10 tomatoes on it. So, but I want to show you all some of the unique things that are also growing here. Next, I'd like to show you the ornamental peppers. What's really unique about these peppers is that all of these peppers started from your typical box store pepper plant. And after years, I mean, obviously the box store ones were some sort of hybrid, and after years of saving and collecting the seeds, they've managed to get the peppers to be less ornamental and actually edible. And so the peppers are losing kind of the hybrid nature of what they were originally intended to, and instead are now becoming how nature intended them to be, which is to actually be consumed by animals. So you could kind of see here, I'll zoom in a little bit on this one. Down here at the bottom, the leaves are still partially that ornamental type of leaf with the white and the spotted, but the rest of the plant tends to be all green as it's growing differently. It's reverting back to nature. Okay, so now I'm standing in front of the cucumbers, and I say cucumbers plural because there are multiple varieties growing here. Before I show you those varieties, I want to show you what they're using in order to get the cucumbers to trellis up. Okay, so this structure is a couple of pieces of wood. I'm going to try to lift you up here, and you can see it just makes a kind of a crossed formation there at the top, and then underneath we've got lots of strings draping from each arm of this cross, and the plant has just trellised up all of those strings, and that's probably 6.5, 7 feet tall. Plus they then built extensions out on what looks to be like some sort of galvanized maybe sheep metal or goat wire, something like that, some sort of pin metal. And so the cucumbers are trellising out that way. Now there are at least 2 varieties that I'm noticing here. We have our yellow cucumber, which look absolutely beautiful. They've got tons of them on here that look like they're probably ready to be picked. I've never had a yellow cucumber, but because this isn't my garden, I'm not gonna just pick it and eat it, although I really want to. So we've got our yellow cucumbers, which seem to be doing really well. We can see how far it's growing out here. And then next, we have our typical kind of green cucumber, and it's also trellised out on this same sort of extension here. And you can see it's doing really well. And there are a bunch more underneath here where it's a little more shaded. I don't know, maybe these are some different type of cucumber. They all seem to have this J in them, and it's been my experience that most cucumbers grow straight, but these all have a hook in them, so that's kind of unique. If you all know specifically what type of cucumber that is, feel free to leave a comment. But these cucumbers, really great looking. One of the most amazing things they've got growing here are volunteer pumpkins. They were telling me that last year they had, like many of us do, jack-o'-lanterns out for Halloween. At the end of the season, when the pumpkins were done and Halloween was over, he took a handful of the seeds and just threw them out in the yard. So this year he has volunteer pumpkins coming up in his front yard garden, and I think that's great for a lot of reasons. One, it shows the creativity that just comes with gardening. You can't be afraid to just throw some seeds out and see what happens. Additionally, it really shows the resiliency of just random seeding and how you can throw pumpkin seeds or any kind of seed out into your garden and you'll get volunteers. So, you know, don't be afraid of just trying new things in your own garden. So just as Bud had taken some volunteers from the pumpkin plants by recycling the seeds that were in the jack-o'-lanterns after Halloween, he did the same thing with some of the ornamental gourds that you can buy at a lot of big box stores as well. So he cut them open after they were done with the holiday season, and he just scattered the seeds into his front yard along the fence line. So here are some of the volunteers that he's got. Okay, so we can see One of the things that I really find unique about these volunteers is you can see in this how it's kind of a split color, yellow, and then a striated green color. I think that has to do with the fact that because they were ornamental in nature, they were more than likely hybrids, and now that they're reverting back to their nature, they've got the multiple kind of elements. So this one's really amazing. You can see it's green at the top, yellow in the middle, and green at the bottom, almost like someone has taken a line and just colored it right along there. Okay, I hope you all can hear me. I had to set the camera about 12 feet away from me, maybe a little bit more, so that you could just see how massive these sunflowers are. Okay, so we've got sunflowers here, and they're not even fully grown yet. I don't see any seeds forming in the bowl of the sunflower. And so these sunflowers are actually really big, probably 10, and there's one over here that's probably 13 feet tall. So they're really big. In addition to the sunflowers though, these aren't just mammoth sunflowers. Bud has actually taken squash, or these gourds, and trellised them, used the sunflowers as a trellis. So you can see here another one of those ornamental gourds that's growing up the sunflower plant. So this is a really creative way to utilize your space in growing. You can grow things that trellis up sunflowers and use the sunflowers instead of building a trellis. Oh, it is nice to be sitting in the shade of this tree. Now, a lot of you who are from the Midwest, actually probably all of you, are going to be amazed at what I'm actually sitting under here in Oklahoma. This is an avocado tree. Now, a few years ago, about 6, Bud told me, he had an avocado pit and he got it to split open. If any of you all have ever tried this process, you know that the avocado pits, all of them don't necessarily split open. They're very difficult to grow and they're incredibly slow growing. So I'm sitting here underneath the shade of a 6-foot avocado, or a 6-year-old avocado tree. And what they do is every winter they move it inside their greenhouse so that it will survive the winter. But I think this is truly the most amazing thing here, is that Bud and Nell have managed to keep an avocado tree alive for over 6 years, and we've had some pretty tough winters here in the last couple of years, including a snowstorm that shut down my school for like 4 days. So the fact that they have an avocado tree that's 6 years old is amazing for Oklahoma, and I hope they can keep it for another 10 or 15 so that they can start to get avocados from their tree, because that would just be the most amazing thing to me here in Oklahoma, is to grow your own avocados. So I guess what I'm trying to tell you all is it doesn't matter the zone that you live in. If you take care of your plants in the right way, you can even have avocado trees in Oklahoma. So I guess that means that I'm gonna have to have a greenhouse now, because now I know what's possible and I don't think there's any turning back. Okay, so that's it for my tour of this garden here in Moore, Oklahoma. I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I did. I really want to thank Bud and Nell for letting me film their front yard garden and then their backyard garden as well. It's truly been a great experience here, and I hope that you all watching the video enjoy it as much as I have, getting to be here and see all these different things. Good luck growing in Oklahoma City, or more, or wherever you're at in the world.